Hi, the purpose of this video is to raise some issues with the article that's for Unit 10, the Lily Wong Fillmore article entitled When Learning a Second Language Means Losing the First. And I think that you'll notice right away that this article is very dated. It was published in 1991, so even before I started my teaching career. And we've learned a lot since the time that this article came out, and that's part of the reason behind this video. Without an in-class discussion, I think I felt the need to try to draw out some of these issues that we would try to discuss in class. And we're kind of running up against the end of this class, and there won't be as much time for setting up face-to-face discussions. So why assign this article at all, given that it's so dated? Well, it raises some important questions, and I think it does a fairly dense job of raising a lot of questions in a very short space. Questions that you should consider as you begin your teaching career for Denver Public Schools. As part of the reading for this week, I've also asked that you watch a short video that was made for parents whose children speak languages other than English at home. And read the article first, and then take a look at the transitional native language instruction model. Take a look at that video that I've included on this Canvas page. And really keep the questions raised by the author in mind when you watch the video. You can skim a lot of the methods part of this article, like any research article. If you're interested in the research and you're thinking about going on to do research in education, that's great. If you're more interested in the practical elements of the article and applying it in the classroom, then you can go ahead and try to skim the first, it's approximately 10 pages or so. I think I've outlined on this Canvas page which pages are most important. When you get to the results and discussion, you'll see some things that are much more meaningful to you as an educator. So the article concerns itself with losing a first language, and you might have some questions about that. You might have a family history. Most of us probably have some part of our family tree that has come to this continent either recently or in the not so distant past, and had some language change that happened as a part of that journey. So when we think about that language change that may have happened in that journey, it could be thousands of years ago, as different Native American groups came to this continent and interacted with other Native American groups, and different languages changed and were either lost or came to kind of dominate one area. It could be as recently as you moving to this country as an adult, learning English, and watching your children learn in English and also perhaps another language. For me, some of my ancestors may have come here from Ireland already speaking English or a dialect of English, and others maybe came here from Germany and tried to maintain that German language for some time. So you might ask, is this a natural part of assimilation? Everyone losing a home language, is that an essential part of the American experience, or is it just part of the American experience for some groups? And what are the impacts of that experience? What are your primary concerns as a teacher? Should losing the home language be of a concern to you as a teacher? This article raises some interesting questions, and I want you to try to pay attention to those questions that it raises. I want to draw attention to some things that I don't want to see you sort of cite and apply in your critical review. And those are some of the deficit views that I feel like teachers could take away from this article. One is the notion that students might be semilingual. The author doesn't use that term, but raises a question about whether students might lose their first language and never really fully acquire a second language. We know that's not true. We know that that doesn't happen unless there's a serious cognitive or developmental deficit. Students become fully lingual and sometimes utilize two languages in a practice called translanguaging. Also want you to watch out for the deficit view of parents who come to this country and are working hard but find it difficult to learn English in their limited amount of spare time. Keep an eye out for the deficit view towards parents who are monolingual in a language other than English, both in your schools and school sites, and perhaps even look for some problematic deficit views in this reading and others. So with that, you have a lot to work with for your critical review, and I hope that you'll think about incorporating some of the big questions that are raised, and especially when you think about yourself as an instructor of English, English grammar, English vocabulary, but an instructor who promotes additive bilingualism. Have a great week.